Hello everybody, this video is going to be a run through of a game of Battalions with the Simplified rule set. There's two rule sets in Battalions, Simplified and Standard, and Simplified is simple as it gets in terms of tabletop wargaming, where it does away with a lot of mechanics such as health and rolling for damage, but still maintains that fun and action-packed and tactical feel of a tabletop strategy game. And it's really great for beginners such as younger people or people who have always kind of wanted to get into wargaming but have never played it at all. It really helps with learning how to move and how to position your pieces, and it's a really fun way to play for everyone. So with that said, we'll jump into the game. So the pieces have already been set up in a way that you might expect right before the actual game starts. The pieces have been laid out 10 centimeters from the edge of the play space. The terrain has been laid out in an appropriate fashion. No one is unfairly boxed in their objectives or anything. So it looks like the game is ready to start. And to kick off the match, each player is going to roll a 1d6 or a 6-sided die. And the player that rolls higher gets to go first. So we'll go ahead and roll the dice to see who goes first. Oh, pink rolled a 6 and green rolled a 5. So pink is going to end up going first. So there's two phases that your pieces go through in Battalions. That's moving and attacking. And you can do them in any order, but in the case of the pink player here, the green player is way out of reach, so it couldn't attack even if it wanted to. So pink is just going to move. And each piece in the current game can move 10 centimeters a turn. So how that works is you put your ruler down and you have it touch the base of the piece you want to move. And then you can move your piece anywhere along the ruler as long as its end position is also touching the ruler. That's very important. You don't want to go too far because then you're basically cheating. And you can definitely go less, like if you wanted some pieces to move slower, to maybe sit back and protect your objective, then you could absolutely do that. Maybe you don't want your pieces to move at all, that's fine too. But right here I'm going to move all the pink pieces up to some form of cover, because sitting in cover gives you an advantage, which will cover once combat actually starts to happen. So for now, we're just moving the pieces. So pink's turn has ended because it's taken all of the actions it could possibly have taken, and now the turn passes to the green player, who can move all of its pieces and attack in any order just like the pink player could. But once again, it looks like pink is still out of range, so really green is just going to be moving here, and it's probably going to want to take a defensive position on this wall that it's set up. So I'm just going to go ahead and move the pieces. I might fast forward since the very first turns of each team can be pretty dull because they're out of range, they can't really shoot or anything at each other. But we're going to get some action in the next turn because both pieces are getting pretty close to each other. So now green is in position and it can no longer take actions, so it passes the turn back to pink, and now pink can go. And pink is now in range. That is because shooting is also at a range of 10 centimeters and you can move and shoot in the same turn. So we know, just being able to eyeball it here, that pink is absolutely in range to start taking shots at some players. So pink is going to move here, and you don't need to physically touch the ruler. It's as long as the ruler would be able to touch unless they're completely obscured. So in the simplified version of the rules, pieces don't block line of sight. So this pink piece here can shoot at this green piece, because the ruler doesn't need to physically touch the two pieces, it just needs to show that if there was nothing on the ground, that pink could shoot green. And that's not the case if there's a full obstruction, such as a wall, but there's nothing like that here, so pink can make the shot at this green piece. So the attacker rolls first, and pink rolled a 6, which is an automatic win because the defender needs to roll higher than whatever pink rolled to dodge the shot, and obviously you can't roll higher than a 6 on a 6-sided die. So green is out. This piece is eliminated because this is the simplified rule set, and we're not going to keep track of stuff like health and attack damage. So next up, pink is going to move its heavier unit, the treader here, and it can't, and the treader can reach the wall, which is nice because being in a wall, as we just covered in that attack there, if you're under attack, you need to roll higher than the attacker. If you get a tie, you still lose. But if you're up against a wall here, then you get a bonus. So if there's a tie, then you actually get to keep your piece in the game because they're under cover of that wall. So by moving the pink piece right up to the wall, the pink player is given its piece an advantage. And the treader is stronger than the average trooper piece. It gets to roll 2 die when it makes attacks. So when it shoots at, I don't know, let's shoot at this one around the corner here. They can reach pretty easily, and they can see each other around that corner because there isn't a whole giant wall obstructing them. There's this little gap here that it can still see the piece from. So when pink attacks, pink rolls 2 die. So 2 and 4, 6, that is once again an automatic hit. There's no way that the green player could roll higher than a 6. So this piece is out too. So let's move the other treader out, and these things are very dangerous in the simplified version of the rules. And it is going to take a shot at the opponent's treader, which also has a damage of 2 dice in the simplified rule set. So when the pink treader rolls its 2 dice, it rolled a 2 and a 4, so it rolled a 6. So the green piece gets 2 die to roll higher than a 6 because it's also a treader. And it rolled 5, oh, it's looking good, and 3. So this piece is dodged, and it is not out of the game. This pink piece missed, and it already moved, so its actions are done. So the pink player has to choose a new piece. And it's probably going to go with this guy over here. So let's move him up and take a shot at the captain here. In the simplified rule set, the captain doesn't have any benefits. It's just a little visual update to the piece. In the standard rule set, there's some actual gameplay differences between a captain and a regular piece. But for now, it's just another 1 die versus 1 die. Pink player rolled a 4. Green player rolled a 3, so the green player is out. So you can see here that sort of blindly rushing into the field isn't always the best way to play. Because if you bring your whole army up all at once, it's possible that the other army will get to fire at all your pieces before you even get to take a shot. And the pink piece is actually not in range here. I'm not sure if it's showing up on the camera, but it can't reach that piece. So it's out of luck, it can't do anything. But it still has these 2 in the back, which it's going to keep back here as guards in case anyone tries to sneak around, I guess. And now it's the green player's turn. So the green player is down some pieces now, but that doesn't mean that the game is over. It can still take shots, so it's going to shoot at this one real quick. And since it's a treader, it gets to roll 2 die. 5, and yeah, that's an automatic. 6. Oh, actually, since the pink player is up against the wall, it has a chance to survive here. If it rolls a 6, then the pink player will get to keep that piece. It didn't, it rolled a 4. So this piece is out of the game now. And as I mentioned earlier, you can attack and then move, or move then attack. You can do your 2 actions in any order. So now that this guy has taken out a piece, it's going to retreat to try to last a little bit longer. Otherwise, it's in range of these 2 treaders, and that's not a good spot to be in. So a good idea after attacking, if you're trying to play more defensively, is to attack first, then retreat if that's possible. The next move here, I guess, this pink piece got into position to shoot at a green piece earlier, but now it's been left open to be hit by a treader. 1, and 5. So pink couldn't roll anything to roll higher than a 6, so the pink player is out, and the treader can once again move to a better position. And now instead of moving defensively away from these 2 treaders, you might choose to move offensively up against the other pink player's pieces, because these guys are kind of far away now. They'd have to go way out of their way to reach this treader, and these guys don't have as good of a chance taking out the treader. So this is sort of a calculated risk that the green player is taking. He might also just be blindly running for that control box back there, because if you destroy this, you win the game. And we'll see how this plays out in the future. For now, we're going to move on to the rest of the pieces. It's not very likely that a trooper takes out a treader, but in this scenario, it's worth at least a chance because it can retreat afterwards. So the green piece rolled a 4, oh man, and the pink piece has the protection of the wall, so all it has to do on 2 dice is roll 4 or more to dodge the attack. Ooh, a 1, and a 1 again. So actually, despite having the defensive bonus, the green trooper has beaten the treader in a fight, and the treader is out of the game. That's a pretty big swing in gameplay. And now that he's done that, it would probably be a smart move to retreat, because he doesn't want to get revenge, or have revenge taken upon him by the other treader on the pink team. And with that, the green team would end his turn and move it back to the pink player. So in one turn, the power level shifted. At first, the pink player was looking like it was doing pretty good. It had taken out a few green pieces. But in that turn, there was that big upset where the trooper took out the treader, and now it's swung to green's favor. It has a higher power level than the pink player. It has 2 treaders and 2 troopers, whereas the pink player only has 1 treader and 3 troopers. But it's the pink player's turn, so let's see if they can take that power back. For starters, the pink player is going to move its captain up here to the wall and take a shot at the treader. So, pink player rolls its singular die, a 3. That is not going to be easy to pull off. Nope, the treader dodged it. But the pink player might have a few more chances of trying to take this thing out. It's definitely got this guy who's in the running, and he's going to roll his die. 5, 4, and there's no way that he could roll lower. So he's still up, and this pink player is going to try. Hopefully with this one they get some luck. 4, 3, and there's no way it could dodge, or it could be hit at this point, so 2. So all of those attacks have failed, but the treader can only attack one of these pieces at a turn, so they'll try to maybe slow it down before it gets to the objective. For example, it can't walk through this gap here anymore. It has to roll all the way around to try to get there, and that'll buy the pink player some time to bring back its heavy firepower and take out this treader who's making a mad dash for the objective there. And with that, the pink player's pieces have all done their activations, so now it's the green player's turn. And whereas before they were retreating to a more defensive spot, now pink is on the defense, so it makes sense to try to push up a little and reclaim some ground, because you really don't want to be fighting right next to your objective. One bad roll and the game is over if they destroy that. So green has moved up all the way to the wall. These all have the bonus protection of the wall because they are touching, and now we should deal with the treader. So if this were me, I would probably take a shot at the captain and try to run around the side and get to the objective as fast as I can. So that's what I'm going to do because I'm playing myself here. So I'm going to roll 2 die, 4, and 4. There's no way the pink player can even get anywhere close to that with a singular die. So that captain is out, and now I'm going to run over here. So it looks like the next turn, that green piece is going to get a shot at the pink objective. And if it kills the objective, then the green team will win despite the early hits it took in the fight. So now it's pink team's turn, and they're going to want to block the way to that as much as they can. But first, it's possible that they just take out the treader entirely with their own treader, and that's definitely in range. So pink treader, rolls a 6 and a 3 for a 9. Now the green treader has to roll higher than 9 to dodge it, otherwise it'll be destroyed. 4, and 3, that's a 7. The green treader is out of the game before it got to run over there and take out that pink objective. And now the pink pieces, whereas they could have moved and sort of blocked the path ahead of time, but the pink player made the smarter decision of trying to take it out with the treader first so that it could free up these pieces to maybe attack their green opponents. So that's what they're going to do now. This one is going to run up next to the wall so it can get the wall bonus in case this backfires, and it's going to fire at the green piece. 6. So if the green piece rolls a 6, he'll get to live. If he didn't have that wall protection, he'd be dead because there's no way you can roll higher. 4. This piece is out of the game. And now there's one more pink piece left. It'll move here. And it can't quite touch the wall to get that wall bonus. And the wall bonus only applies if the wall is between the two pieces. So, for instance, if this piece was shooting at something here, or is being shot at by something behind it, there'd be no wall and it wouldn't get the bonus. But it can still reach, so it's going to roll its die. Ooh, it rolled a 1. So actually, no matter what the green piece rolls, it'll survive because it has the defensive bonus. It rolled a 2 anyway, So that green piece gets to live. And now the green player is going to start their turn, and they're at a disadvantage right now. Let's see if they can come back. So the green player is going to take advantage of its treader that's still here. And it's going to take a shot at the, actually the piece that's in cover. So, 3 and 3. If the pink piece rolls a 6, it'll survive this attack. 2, oof, it's out. Okay, and then with this last piece, it is actually touching the wall, and there's wall between the piece and the other piece. So, it'll roll 1! Okay. So, the pink piece has to roll anything except a 1. It rolled a 3, and it's going to survive. And, that's not too good for the green, for the green player. That's going to come back to get him. So, the one benefit that that green player got out of its sneaking around the side there was that it pulled the enemy treader way out of combat, so it's actually too far away to do anything this turn. This piece isn't, though, and it's going to slide along the wall and try to take out its green counterpart. So, we'll count that as a roll. That's a 4. Oh, and this is my personal rule. I don't count dice unless they're flat on the table, and this was caught on the base. So, 5 anyway. Alright. So the green piece rolled higher, and it's going to survive that attack. And now it's the green player's turn, since the pink player has done everything that it could. Now, as we saw, treaders are the best tool players have to take out other treaders. And treaders are very dangerous. So, the green player is going to slide his piece along the wall. Oops. And try to take out that pink treader before it does any real damage to the other pieces. So 2 and 1 is what the pink player rolled, and then the green player rolled 4. Alright, well, 4 is higher than 3. We'll roll again just for the fun of it. 5. So this pink piece is definitely gone, and it is not looking good for the pink player, because the green player still has his last piece, and he can still make his attack. So, green is going to roll a 3. As long as the pink player rolls a 3 or higher, it'll stay in here. A 1! And with that, the pink piece is out. Green team has won despite the early losses it suffered, and the game is over. So hopefully that run-through gave you an idea of what a game of Bottalions looks like with the simplified rule set. The dice definitely have a much larger influence over the simplified rule set than the standard rule set, because there's less stats that you have to deal with and consider when you make attacks. There's not boosting, there's not hit points, and stuff like that. So the dice are kind of king here. There's still, as you saw, different tactics you can take, there's different maneuvers you can do. The game is still really exciting and really fun, even with several mechanics stripped away like it is in the simplified version. Now I'll take some time to talk about mechanics of the game. You might have noticed that the pieces operate completely independently of each other, which means that if you want to play a multiplayer game with more than 2 people, but you only have that single 2-player box, you don't need to worry. You can assign specific pieces to specific players. So if I wanted to have 2 players playing on the green team, I might give them, I might give one player 2 treaders, and the other player, all the troopers. That way you'd be able to have 2 people on one team, and you could do the same on the other team, so you could have a 4-player game. Technically, since there's 14 pieces per box, you could have a 14-player game. I've had that before, and the game is still fun and enjoyable when you do that, and in fact, in some ways it's even more fun because each player has their own piece and they're making decisions and collaborating with their team and figuring out what the best way to play would be. And that is definitely fun, and the game is still enjoyable, but it is a huge time sink when there's 14 players making their own decisions. So just so you know, the more players you add to a game, the more time that goes into the game. Another way to have a multiplayer game with more than 2 players is to just add entirely new teams to the fights. It really helps for free-for-all scenarios if you have different colors to tell the teams apart. You could have multiple teams, so orange and pink versus green and black. You could have 3 teams, so like orange and pink and black and green, and purple and red. You can do pretty much whatever you want. The rules allow for a bunch of different combinations of games, and it's infinitely scalable. But just like adding more players increases the playtime, adding pieces, of course, also increases the playtime, which isn't a problem for me because I really like having these longer drawn-out battles. It makes the game more exciting, and when there's a really heroic moment, it's really highlighted and really memorable. So hopefully this video was informational. If you have any questions, just post a comment and I'll try to answer them as fast as I can. And I'll see you in the update. I'm also posting a video of the standard rule set being played, and that will be posted, if not now, then very soon. So keep a lookout for that, and thank you for watching, and thank you for your support.